So yeah, you get a pretty nice reward from this. Yeah, that's the most valuable treasure in the game, in terms, like, how much you can sell it for. So that's what I was doing it for. I was doing it for the stray bead, but gold dust is also like, it's not unique as in there's only one of them, but unique as in each instance you can only get once. There are only 15 in the game. So yeah, I'm just sort of skipping around here. I'm in Kamui now.
You know, one cool thing about Okami is how huge the world is and how, like, vastly different the different areas are.
Right,
It even really staggers games like Twilight Princess.
Yeah, this was one thing that I didn't really like that much about Skyward Sword. I felt like the environments were too similar. It's like...
My biggest problem with Skyward Sword was actually the fact that they tried to make everything like a dungeon. So you never had that overworld downtime that is so characteristic of previous Zeldas.
Yeah, that is a problem. There was only one town, really. And there wasn't... Yeah, you're right, there wasn't really much of an overworld.
Which was one thing they were actually trying to go for, was they wanted to break that kind of overworld sequence that Zelda's always had, but it didn't work because by making every environment like a dungeon, they got rid of, like, any of the restful element. Like, you don't get to take a break. It's like a grind, and it's almost exhausting to play, because it's like, you go dungeon to dungeon to dungeon to dungeon, you never go, well, okay, hey, I got a little while between the next dungeon, I can go do some side quests if I want, or I can go do this or that, or explore, or whatever.
What I mean by, like, the environments not being varied enough, I thought that there were too many sort of hot environments. Like, it's like, okay, you have a volcano for one of the 3 big locations, and a desert for another one of the 3 big locations.
I did think it was clever in the way that they implemented where you got your important items and when. If they didn't just give them to you in dungeons.
That sequence in the music right there, that just happened, it reminds me of Final Fantasy VII, the world map theme. I don't know, I actually haven't finished that game, but I know the main musical motifs. Yeah, I don't know why I had so much trouble in this section. This is a cave that doesn't show up on the map in Kamui. And there's a stray bead and some other goodies here. But for some reason, I had trouble making these jumps. And it's not that they're particularly difficult jumps, it's just that my controls were not behaving. It's like... it's funny when that happens. It's like, okay, it's nighttime. Number 1, nighttime and daytime don't look very different these days because, you know, the day of darkness has arrived or whatever. And number 2, I'm in a freaking cave right now. Oh yeah, this is where I really suffered some derps.
Always trying to make the jump, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I felt... You need to have a certain amount of momentum going to make these jumps, and I felt like I was getting stopped short. Like, in the middle of the jump, like that.
Oh, yeah.
You saw, like, it just completely killed my momentum. I don't know, there must be, in this game and in the Zelda games, there must be some Locky 2 equivalent. And I apparently bashed into thin air. You know, there must be some Locky 2 who, like, fishes you out. So I just assumed that the rest of these scrolls had to do with brush powers, but I guess there were still 1 or 2 left that didn't do that. I'm like, hey, they got something right. They called the moon a rock. It's not like Wallace and Gromit, I guess. Have you seen those videos?
I've seen the Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Yeah, the originals were like half-hour-long movies. There were 3 of them, and the first one is called A Grand Day Out. And in that one, they discover that they're out of cheese, but it's a bank holiday, so the stores aren't open. So logically, they go to the moon.
Because the moon's made of cheese.
Yes. Wait, what was I... Maybe I didn't realize that there was still some stuff I hadn't gotten. Or, no, maybe I thought that I could only get to it this way. Which is stupid because the jump is a lot longer from there. Like, too long to make. I guess I was just being a derp. It looked like I was going to make it that time, didn't it? Oh, by the way, I know you can probably hear the heat going on and off. I can't do much about that.
No, I'm not actually. I'm not hearing anything, actually.
The camera also wasn't helping much. Like there, when it just shifted in the middle of the jump. It's like, honestly, would it be that hard to design a camera that stayed put when you were jumping? Okay, finally I made it. I was a bit disappointed when I got that, because I thought, big treasure chest, I was hoping it had an important item, not just a consumable one. And that's one of the diamond rocks or whatever that you need power/3 to break. But, oh, there's a bear here. Speaking of bears, I'm enjoying your Banjo-Kazooie Let's Play.
It's a fun game. It's actually kind of, it's the second time with some of it that I've actually played through these levels. Some of the playthrough. There's going to be a great deal of the LP that's actually city blind.
How far have you played?
In my original playthrough, I got to like Gobi Desert or something like that, or Gobi's Valley.
Mm-hmm.
But I've not been farther than that myself.
So I got the last ink pot, which means that I can use... What?
I said, well done.
Oh, thank you. I actually had a choice of what I could get there. But I wanted to get the last ink pot because... So these elemental powers that you can use, like the big attack ones, fire, ice and lightning and water. What am I doing? You can use them at 3 different levels of strength. The strongest one uses up 9 ink pots. So if you have 9 ink pots, you can use it, but then you'll immediately run out, which means it'll be a few seconds before you can use your powers again. So if you have 10 ink pots, you can use the power at the highest level of strength and not run out of ink.
Now, so you give you a choice. Is one of those things visible then?
One of what things?
Well, you said you had a choice of what to get, but you decided to get the ink pot.
Oh, in the divine attributes, you have 4 things. You can get another unit of solar energy, which is life. I already got that to max. I can only get more units of solar energy now by getting Sun Fragments. I've gotten all that I can get from praise.
Okay.
You can get more ink pots. I just got the last one. You can get more astral pouches, which are like... Have you ever played a Mega Man game?
Very
Well, it's like the energy tanks or sub-tanks. Those are essentially what the Astral pouches are. They revive you when you die. And you can get a bigger... Well, the game calls it a purse, but I've been calling it a wallet. So
like
those...
the reserve burst the reserve tanks in Super Metroid?
Yes. Now, I was looking for another stray bead here, but instead I found something completely different. And I just thought, well, I don't like the look of that purple stuff coming from there. There's probably a nasty enemy down here. Now, I find it satisfying to compare how this battle went to how the last battle with one of these things went. Because I did a lot better this time. Now, I thought that I only had to hook up, like, 2 things. You see how I'm hooking up the flowers to its butt? Sort of. I think it, like, you only have to do 2 on one of the other ones, but you have to do 3 on this one to get it vulnerable. I had so much more time there, I could have probably taken out 1 or 2 more of those things. I just wasn't used to having such a powerful attack. And, also I had learned my lesson from the first time I fought one of these things, like the one you have to fight. When I'd taken too much time and gotten eaten. Well, you know, munched, not really eaten, because it's not an instant death attack. That would be really jerkish. Also, this one, apparently, if you put your brush, if you draw in the wrong place, then it'll just, like, nullify whatever drawing you're doing. Only a very few enemies can actually screw with your celestial brush. So the fact that an enemy can means, oh, it's pretty strong. There's one battle where there's someone helping you with it, but that's because that's Shiranui, who is basically your previous incarnation.
So have you played Final Fantasy X?
Final Fantasy X, yes I have. Would you recommend it? Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. It was not my favorite Final Fantasy game, but it was very good.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite? You know, I can't decide between 8 and 9. Hey, look, I actually got the best rating on a boss battle. I think that was the first time that happened. And of course, there's more money at stake there, so that's especially good. Now I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this shiny thing. Oh, wait, that's the portal out? I'm stupid. I thought it was like a clover or something because it was a green column of light, but that was the way out.